Panetta.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for not just being here, but for your businesses, for your families, for your communities, all of the work that you do. We appreciate that. And let me also just start off by saying, as someone whose district has experienced many natural disasters, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues that making disaster relief contingent on anything is pretty despicable and actually politically stupid as well. I understand the rhetoric, but doing that to vulnerable and defenseless Americans is absolutely un-American. Now, I appreciate your American stories, especially the fact that government has actually helped you. I think you've all provided some pretty nice stories, and we appreciate that. And I want you to know that we here, even though we're on this side of the aisle, we are rooting for you. We support you, and we want you to continue to succeed. But in order to continue to help you, to help our nation, we got to talk about how we pay for things. And if we don't, we just can't do a simple extension of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, their expiring provisions. Because if we don't, it's going to be hugely expensive. According to the CBO, as we've heard today, it could reach a $4.6 trillion price tag. And with the national debt already at $36 trillion, a deficit at $2 trillion for fiscal year 24, it is incumbent upon us to not only do something about our debt, we must do something to pay for any type of extension when it comes to the TCJA expiring provisions. I believe the American people don't want to have an unpaid tax bill, and a bill that will further disintegrate our country's finances and destroy our nation's credibility. A partisan deficit inflating tax bill is not the solution, and I hope that we instead focus on advancing bipartisan legislation that addresses the real challenges that Americans face by figuring out how we pay for those solutions. Now, when it comes to paying for itself, there have been plenty of estimates that have found that the TCJA has failed to do that. And the reason being is that while certain cuts can spur some growth, they don't spur growth at a rate high enough to offset the cost in revenue. Now, Mr. Duke, as you shake your head, how much would the economy have to grow to fully offset an extension of the TCJA?
Talking about, so we have like a average tax rate of 20% or so, so you need 5 times the amount of growth coming from that in order to just make it all back. So we're talking 7-8% or something.
Is that realistic?
Large. Yeah.
Is that realistic, and are the policies of the TCJA likely to bring about that growth?
Yeah, absolutely not. CBO showed that it would shrink the economy in the long run. The Tax Foundation, which is a right-leaning organization, found that economic growth only cuts the cost by 14%. So it's still just there. You still have a big tax cut you need to pay for.
Now, it's also been floated that we can eliminate credits from the IRA as a pay-for, as you've heard, Mr. Duke, correct?
Yes.
What would the elimination of energy tax credits in the IRA do to the ability to expand our economy?
Yeah, so, first, households would face higher costs. They would pay more for electricity. They will pay more for, electric vehicles. It also, again, puts us at, kind of under China's thumb, that these are the industries of the future, and they're trying to build them strategically. They're pouring in trillions of dollars to build these industries, and, we need that foothold in the future if we want to, basically go toe-to-toe with them.
Now, the president-elect has proposed across-the-board tariffs of 10 to 20%, as well as a tariff of 60% applied to imports from China. Some have suggested that these tariffs could be used as a pay-for the extension of the TCJA. Now, Ms. Silver, you operate a machining business that, according to customs reports, imports primarily machinery, gums, resins, and aluminum from the United Kingdom, correct?
No.
You don't import those?
All of those things you said, no, from the United Kingdom?
Where do you import them from?
My raw material? It's mainly U.S.
You don't have any imports to your business?
I'm sure there are. We've had some bearing assemblies where we're sourcing bearings, and they're probably not all made here.
Got it.
But our majority of our raw material is made here.
Got it. But if you did have imports, they'd obviously be subject to these tariffs, which would then lead to price increases for your business, correct?
Correct.
All right. And is that how you would you want to pay for the TCJA with those price increases?
We are, as you're saying, we're a participant in the global supply chain, and I would want Congress to tailor any policies, so that we can continue to participate in that and be competitive.
And that would that include price increases on imports for you in your business? Is that what you want?
Well, no, I don't want any price
thank you.
increases
I yield
on
back.
anything.
The votes are ticking down. I think we'll call on one more, and then we will recess.